This is a big complaint about, I suppose, the omnibus package and Zelensky coming to speak to the Senate, which was great and irritating all the right people.
Well, guys, huge news.
Well, guys, I'm so fucked up right now.
News for Republicans.
Is he turning into Cartman?
Huge, one would say, with a capital Y.
One would say it was his dad. And also, what's happening? What's with the little wings?
According to Mitch McConnell.
And this head cold that I have, which is really not a head cold, okay? It's like I have a space holder in my hard palate because of a coke hole.
Ukraine is the number one priority of Republicans. Not gas prices.
Well, not anymore. I mean, they're going down. Obviously, it was a priority for the Democrats, and
not like 7%, probably more. Inflation.
Yeah, just make it higher. Just do it. By the way, notice how it was like 8-9% in July, August, and it's ticking down. It's got to be difficult. Is it like, I don't know, how is it watching their talking points? It's like watching a plant you forgot to water and it just dies, and you're like, fuck, man, I forgot to water the talking point, and it's all dead. This was expensive, too. I can keep the pot, I guess.
Not the spikes in violent crime that are destroying our formerly great cities.
The spikes of the crime that are formerly great, where you can't walk down the street without being hit with a baseball bat.
Not even the 20,000 or so illegals per day crossing the southern border. Definitely not the fentanyl scourge.
Scourge. Fuck me.
That is crushing everyone equally.
Is it? Is it? So everybody's just, so whether you use fentanyl or not, whether or not, yeah, you're being crushed by it. I don't know if you know this, but you should probably give yourself a shot of Narcan if you're watching this video right now.
Right? Whether young, old, rich, poor, none of that. You know, the southern border, all the stuff, the human trafficking, that's not our number one priority. But the Ukraine is.
It's Ukraine is a country. It's called Ukraine. Calling it the Ukraine is a dog whistle to let people know that you're on Russia's side. Just thought I'd point that out.
That's weird.
No, you are. You're a very strange man. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what the fuck this is about.
That's weird.
This is weird. You're weird. This is weird. We're all feeling, it's weird, man. We're all in a weird space.
And it's news to me, folks.
And most things are.
I had no idea that was Republicans' number one priority. I mean, I'm out there a lot.
Yes, you're most of the time I see you, you're out there.
I go all over the country.
Do you? Yeah, well, I mean, not everywhere, obviously. They don't have endangered species you can blow away.
I speak to Republican groups everywhere, and
yeah, and no one else. I understand.
I don't know that a single one of them has actually told me that's our number one priority.
I'm sure, could it be that you only speak to maggot groups that are pro-Russia specifically, that you are self-selecting out anyone who would disagree with what you think about these things, or the rooms that you're in are that you've got people around you, or the people you're hanging with self-select out all the. Nah, I guess not. Probably not.
In fact, many of them can't believe we're blowing $130 billion. Just so we're clear,
we're not.
$130 billion, approximately, right? With
approximately
the new $45 billion that they've just given is literally more money in 1 year than the combined amount of military aid to Afghanistan from 1946 to 2019.
But I thought we left $85 billion worth of the best gear ever behind in 1 year. Wait, I'm sorry, because the Obama administration destroyed something in the order of $27 billion worth of vehicles and ammunition and all kinds of other stuff when we were initially going to leave in, I think, 2014. And then they did it again a year later. They pulverized a bunch of other shit. So how can the budget for all of that time be so incredibly low if we left behind $85 billion of the finest gear and it was all fresh in the package and it was still had the instructions?
Just for a little perspective, okay?
Just for a little perspective. By the way, if you want a little perspective on Afghanistan, the Russians have lost 10 times as many people in the Ukraine war as they lost in the 10 years they were in Afghanistan.
Okay? So when Mitch McConnell tells us it's the #1 priority, nothing that actually affects you at home.
Let me guess, did he say it's their #1 foreign priority or some shit? Now, I don't know what the direct quote is, and I don't give a fuck because it's Mitch McConnell. And for the record, honestly, aren't we both just enjoying watching this? Come on. He's attacking Mitch McConnell. Again. Awesome. This is just, watching them just bite each other's ankles. It's just, it warms the cockles of my heart, if I can say cockles without getting demonetized.
Nothing that helps
Fuck me.
hurts your wallet, affects your child's future, their education. No. The #1
Their ability to travel to Russia, to Europe without having to learn Russian.
priority is Ukraine. And that's weird. Again, I've traveled the world. I have yet to meet a single Republican whose #1 priority that is. I have not met one.
Hold on. Okay. Can I find the fucking quote that he's talking about since this dipshit isn't putting it? McConnell, Ukraine, #1 priority. Let's see. There you go. Mitch McConnell says funding Ukraine is #1 priority for most Republicans. As inflation soars, Biden administration is giving Ukraine tens of billions of dollars. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So this is from the right and the want the people to vote, represent close the border, stop inflation, but Senate majority then says okay, blah, blah, blah. And they even quote Don Jr. in this one. Does he here? Well, let's see if is this the video where he says it? It says funding.
Making sure the Defense Department can deal with the major threats coming from Russia and China, providing assistance for the Ukrainians to defeat the Russians. That's the #1 priority for the United States.
Okay. All right. Whole quote. Fuck you. The entire quote. What's the entire quote? Listen to this again. What's he saying? Being able to make sure that the Defense Department can handle all the threats from Russia and China specifically, and being able to fund Ukraine in its fight against Russia.
Making sure.
Oh, by the way, they cut off the top of it even. He was in the middle of, there's probably even more context on top of this.
Defense Department can deal with the major threats coming from Russia and China.
Yeah, so basically he's saying passing, we didn't like the omnibus, but we want defense spending, and there's a lot of reasons for that defense spending, and all the above is, fuck me. I mean, we should have guessed, right? I mean, we should have just known that this dipshit and all of his buddies are going to isolate out the part about Ukraine and not just pretend that basically Mitch McConnell is using defense spending as an excuse to pass the rest of the omnibus bill, which they also want. All of these assholes will be standing in front of ribbons, cutting stuff that was paid for by the passing of the omnibus bill, whether it's new or old or the funding is increased. It's shit.
Providing.
Okay, sorry.
The guys.
Person. It's probably not top 5.
All right, this is just dumb. Now it's stupid. Now it's even dumber than we thought it was. This whole video is him trying to excise out one section of the quote that's already cut from the one that he looked at, apparently. It's even shrunk down beyond that to make it look,
For most Republicans around the country. But none of this should surprise us. Because that
None of this should surprise us that you are this fucking stupid, that you are literally incapable of absorbing anything that has more complexity than crayons and Coke.
Disconnect between a DC swamp creature who's just trying to get the military,
which your dad wants to be again,
industrial complex rich, pay back his lobbyist friends, send more missiles.
His lobbyist friends? I got news for you, asshat. There are no major defense contractors to speak of in Kentucky.
To start a nuclear war with Russia. I mean, what could go wrong, folks? Of course, that's their number one priority. You know what isn't their number one priority?
Well, I got to think about this one a lot. Winning elections. I'm going to go with that. That's what it's going to be.
You.
Oh, all right. Me. Well, I don't expect them to make me a priority. They hate my guts.
The American public.
I wouldn't call myself the American. I'm a member of the American public. I mean, I am big in stature and in impact, but I'm just like everybody else, except you, obviously. I'm not a third-generation rich kid who blazed a hole in his hard palate with cocaine, allegedly.
Your children, your livelihoods, your and their future.
Well, I mean, if you allow Russia to run roughshod over another country and their next stop is apparently nuking Berlin, as they've said, and attacking Poland and the like, then we would roll into a greater conflict that eventually they would be in a bigger position of strength, and it would eventually affect my family. So, yeah, it does matter.
That's clearly not a priority, because it's Ukraine. And you all saw it this week with...
Y'all. Jesus, what kind of Huckabee bullshit is this? You're from New York, asshole.
The Zelensky photo op, okay? Remember that.
The photo op. Your dad sat down with him, too. It wasn't a photo op because both of them looked uncomfortable. It was a shit photo op.
Folks, DC isn't your friend. You don't want someone beholden.
No, Moscow is. Tell him, Don.
Beholden to DC. You want
someone beholden to Dubai.
Someone beholden to the billionaire donor class.
Which your dad is not a part of, according to what we've seen from his taxes already.
These kind of nonsense,
These kind of nonsense. Can you tell he just ran out of fucking steam right there?
You don't want someone beholden to DC. You don't want someone beholden to the billionaire donor class.
Yeah, I think maybe at that moment he realized his dad's not a real billionaire and kind of stuck his foot in it.
These kind of nonsense, that kind of ridiculousness, that's the logic it gets you.
Right, yeah. Everybody write that down? Holy shit. That's the kind of logic it gets you if you buy from a dealer that cuts with Ajax, I think.
You're last. America is last, as always, with these clowns in charge.
Assistant.
By the way, again, without Mitch McConnell, Donald Trump has no lasting legacy at all. Literally, holding the SCOTUS seat for him, giving him 3 guaranteed seats, that was enough. That's what did it. Right, his dad cleared protesters with the military for a photo op where he held a Bible upside down. Is that your Bible? It's a Bible. Jesus.